Welcome back to Vesper Meadow. It's the best time of year to be here to see the flowers in bloom, the butterflies and bees flying, and Vesper Sparrow chicks feeding their young. Middle of June, it's such a critical time for Vesper Sparrows and many other wildlife as they are raising their young, trying to send off the next generation of their species into the world. And so it's really critical right now to understand how they're surviving, how the chicks are fledging out of their nests, and what might be the causes of their decline as a population as a whole. I'm here with Dr. Sarah Rockwell of the Klamath Bird Observatory. What are you doing out here today?
Well, like you said, it's mid-June. Our Vesper Sparrows are kind of in the prime time of their nesting season. We have a lot of nests that are just starting to fledge at this point. It's one of the more dangerous times in a bird's life is those first few weeks out of the nest when they're on their own and they're a new bird and they're learning what to do and how to hide from predators and how to find food. And so it is a really important time, and it's one that we know relatively little about for most songbirds. Fledglings can be harder to find. They're cryptic, meaning they're well camouflaged, they tend to hide. And so it's a kind of a knowledge gap for many species, including Vesper Sparrow. At Vesper Meadow a couple years ago, we did some territory mapping and kind of got an idea of where the Vesper Sparrows like to set up their territories spatially. And we found that they tended to line the edges of the meadow. So not out in the very center where it tends to be a little wetter, but more on the edges where it's a little drier ground and some mix of stumps and trees. To follow up on that, we wanted to find out this year where the fledglings are, not just the breeding adults. And so this bird, this subspecies, is declining and has a relatively small population, but the nest success here is quite good. And so far, adult survival is about what you would expect for a songbird. And so the real question that remains is fledgling survival and how they survive that very first year from when they leave the nest to go to the wintering grounds and then come back next spring as their first year as adult birds making their own nests. And that's really where one of our knowledge gap lies. And that's kind of what we're working on currently. So we're using this technology, automated radio telemetry via the MOTUS network. And basically that means that we can put little radio tags on the birds and that this network is going to detect them, the beeping from the tags, the signal from the tags, whether or not we can actually see the birds. And so these nodes, we have 18 placed around the edge of the meadow. They are to complement the main MOTUS station on top of the house, which has much larger antennas. But having these kind of satellite nodes out here both extends our reach of areas that the main station might not be able to see through the trees, for instance. And it also will give us a better idea of the location of the fledglings. Not only are those first 3 weeks after fledging important, which is one of our study goals, but another study goal is to track how many go to the wintering grounds and successfully come back here next year. So annual survival is another one of our research questions. And these will definitely help with that, since again, we don't have to come out here and hike around and find and see the birds. They should automatically ping off of either the main MOTUS station or one of these nodes and let us know that the bird is back.
Oftentimes, science isn't shared with the wider world. People may hear about the research, but nothing really may become of it. Here, we're saying, let's study this imperiled species so we can do something before it's too late. Studying the bird is building a relationship with it, and then showing that we care by taking action. Check out our next video to learn more about our restoration efforts for the Oregon Vesper Sparrow.